If you're black and you're wearing a blonde, bright blonde, platinum, straight, bust down wig every day, you take it off, are you telling me you're not going to look in the mirror and think, this is my image now, this is my image, this is a problem?
Imagine being told that the way you wear your hair means you're ashamed of who you are. And it's not even coming from your own community. Today, we're diving into the heated debate about black women, wigs, weaves, and why everybody seems to have an opinion on their hair. Back when I first started creating content online in 2015, one of the loudest and most consistent conversations I noticed revolved around black women and their hair. The debate wasn't new, but social media gave it an even bigger stage. Over time, countless black men have added their opinions to the mix, often criticizing choices like wigs, weaves, or extensions, especially when the look doesn't appear natural to them. To put this into perspective, think about Janet Jackson in Poetic Justice during the early 90s. She wore box braids that felt rooted in cultural identity and reflected a style closely tied to traditional black hair expression. In contrast, other artists like Mary J. Blige with her signature blonde looks, or women experimenting with vibrant red or even pink styles have sparked frustration among many black men, who see these bold choices as a departure from authenticity. For them, this form of self-expression becomes a point of tension rather than celebration.
For all of my beautiful black women out there, us black men don't like when you guys wear makeup, weaves, and wigs. That makes you look uglier. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And there's black women out there that don't wear makeup, that don't wear weaves or wigs. We need more black women like that. I don't understand why you black women want to wear makeup, weaves, and wigs. Do you guys want to look white or something?
From his perspective, the critique is meant to come from a place of care, but it's easy to see how some black women could find it offensive. His argument is that the extras wigs, weaves, or heavy makeup don't always enhance beauty, but instead mask it, sometimes even creating the opposite effect. To him, these additions strip away the essence of what makes a woman authentically herself. He frames it less as condemnation and more as longing, the desire to see and celebrate black women in their most natural state, without embellishment. For a certain group of black men, the reasoning behind this preference runs deep. They see beauty not as something constructed in front of a mirror but as something that already exists, woven into the textures, tones, and individuality of black womanhood. For them, authenticity carries more weight than presentation. A woman's natural coils, her untouched skin, and her unaltered features represent both a cultural inheritance and a source of unmatched beauty. In their eyes, wigs, weaves, and layers of makeup, while creative and expressive, can sometimes overshadow the very qualities they hold most dear. This sentiment is often rooted in cultural pride as much as attraction. Natural black hair, for example, is not just a style, it is history, identity, and resistance all at once. It carries stories of resilience in the face of centuries of stigma, where Eurocentric standards of beauty dominated and often left little space for black women to be celebrated as they were. When some black men advocate for natural beauty, they are, consciously or unconsciously, pushing back against those same standards. They want black women to know that their unaltered selves are not only accepted but cherished. However, the tension lies in how that message is delivered and received. When framed carelessly, it can come across as restrictive, even judgmental, as if women are being policed for their choices. After all, wigs, weaves, and makeup can serve many purposes. For some women, they are protective measures, shielding natural hair from damage and giving it time to grow. For others, they are tools of creativity and self-expression, allowing them to switch up styles, experiment with colors, or embody different looks without permanent change. In that light, rejecting these choices can feel like dismissing women's agency over their own bodies and identities. Still, many men who express this preference are not attempting to shame or exclude. They acknowledge that wigs and weaves are an undeniable part of modern black womanhood. They recognize that beauty is multifaceted, and while natural styles may be their ideal, they don't refuse to love, date, or respect women who make different choices. It's more about preference than prohibition. Just as one person may prefer a partner who dresses casually over someone who always dresses formally, these men are voicing a desire rather than drawing a rigid line. That said, it's important to note that beauty standards are rarely formed in isolation. They are influenced by culture, media, and personal experience. Some men's attachment to natural beauty comes from positive encounters, perhaps a mother, sister, or early love who embraced her natural self. Others may feel fatigued by what they perceive as artificiality in a world saturated with filters, surgery, and enhancements. Whatever the motivation, the underlying theme is the search for something real, something unaltered, something that feels rooted in truth. Yet the conversation must remain balanced. If men want to honor authenticity, they must also honor women's autonomy. What one sees as a mask, another may see as art. What one perceives as hiding, another may experience as freedom. At its best, the dialogue should not pit natural beauty against self-expression but rather embrace the spectrum of ways Black women choose to present themselves. After all, the richness of Black womanhood lies in its diversity, whether in tightly coiled afros, long braids, bold wigs, or bare faces glowing without makeup. Ultimately, while these men may prefer the natural look, most are not blind to the reality that beauty is complex and layered. They may gravitate toward what feels the most genuine to them, but that doesn't mean they stop engaging with women who embrace wigs, weaves, or makeup. Love and attraction are rarely so rigid. In the end, their preference reflects an appreciation for what is already present, not a condemnation of what is added.
Men do not prefer fake hair. They will accept it if many of the other things fall in line.
In this situation, the brother makes a point that resonates with many Black men, myself included. Wigs and weaves aren't always our personal favorite. But it's important to recognize the reasons why so many Black women choose to wear them. For some, these hairstyles are practical, serving as protective measures that shield natural hair from breakage, heat damage, and environmental stressors. Natural Black hair, while beautiful, can be fragile and requires careful maintenance. Wigs and weaves allow women to rest their hair, grow it out, and experiment with styles without causing long-term damage. For others, wearing wigs or weaves is about versatility and self-expression. The freedom to switch up textures, lengths, and colors at will provides a creative outlet and allows women to adapt their look for different moods, occasions, or seasons. This flexibility is not just about beauty, it's about empowerment, identity, and the ability to shape one's own image on one's own terms. If you truly love Black women, you have to understand that this reality comes with the territory. Wigs and weaves are so prevalent that to completely avoid dating women who wear them would severely limit your options. These styles are commonplace across the globe, from urban centers in the United States to communities throughout Africa, even in African countries where natural hairstyles are celebrated and cherished. Wigs and weaves remain widely popular, demonstrating their global cultural significance. In places like Brazil or parts of the Caribbean, you may encounter more women embracing natural textures, but even there, wigs and weaves are present, highlighting a universal trend in Black hair culture. Their prevalence speaks not only to fashion but also to the history and ongoing evolution of Black beauty standards, which have been shaped by centuries of cultural resilience, adaptation, and creativity. Over time, many Black men come to accept this reality, even if it isn't their personal preference. Hair, after all, is only one facet of attraction and compatibility. Personality, character, energy, and other physical features often carry far more weight than hair alone. A woman's charisma, sense of humor, confidence, and the way she navigates life can easily overshadow any reservations about wigs or weaves. That said, some men quietly wish their partners relied less on these add-ons. These preferences are subtle and personal. They reflect aesthetic inclinations rather than a lack of love or respect. A man may appreciate natural hair for its authenticity, yet still honor a woman's right to choose her appearance, acknowledging the artistic and expressive dimensions of wigs and weaves. Interestingly, this conversation extends beyond private relationships into the public sphere. I recently came across a video featuring an Arab woman living in Britain who openly criticized Black women for their hair choices. Her comments illustrate how hair, identity, and cultural expression are often scrutinized by outsiders, adding layers of complexity and tension to what might otherwise be a personal decision. It demonstrates that discussions around Black women's hair are not merely about style, they are about representation, perception, and cultural authority. The controversy highlights how personal choices intersect with societal commentary, and how something as seemingly simple as a hairstyle can become a lightning rod for broader debates about authenticity, beauty, and respect. Ultimately, while many Black men may have a preference for natural hair, most understand that wigs and weaves are a significant part of modern Black womanhood. Preference does not equate to rejection. Love and respect coexist, with admiration for authenticity, and the conversation about hair is, at its core, about navigating identity, aesthetics, and cultural pride within the dynamics of modern relationships.
You're wearing wigs that resemble 4C kinky hair. A lot of you are wearing wigs that look nothing like your hair. This is a problem. You guys are creating delusions in your head. You're wearing wig every day. If you're black and you're wearing a blonde, bright blonde, platinum, straight, bust down wig every day, you take it off. Are you telling me you're not going to look in the mirror and think, this is my image now. This is my image. This is a problem. This is a problem. What the fuck are you?
In this moment, the woman takes a sharp stance. Her message to black women is blunt. Something isn't right here. She goes as far as to call it delusional, arguing that adopting hairstyles so far removed from natural textures creates a false reflection. In her view, when a woman looks in the mirror, she risks convincing herself that the image staring back is authentically her when, in reality, it's a constructed version, and to her, that illusion is just the beginning. The deeper issues run even further.
There's a lot of black women here that are trying to intimidate me. I don't know who you think you are. I'm actually speaking up for your community, and you should be agreeing, and if not, you need help. Because what I'm saying is factual. Anyone can fucking agree. Whoever's a human or has been to year 2 school, year 3 school, knows that if you change your look every single day and you look in the mirror, you will now adapt and you'll think that this is your image. This is your true form. So now, when you remove all of that, you're going to be insecure. A simple Google search will show you this. A simple... Sorry, you're the only community that wants to gatekeep. Like, it's getting ridiculous. You want to gatekeep the word black. You want to gatekeep talking on black issues because we're not black. Are you okay? Do you think you intimidate me? You think I haven't been called a racist before on this platform? Do you think I care? You guys don't feel a type of way to go mention white people's issues and then turn in. Are you okay? Why do I need to be black to tell you that your esteem is being, your low self-esteem, you have low self-esteem from doing that?
The woman's remarks sparked heavy backlash, with many labeling her as racist. She defended herself by insisting, "Why can't I weigh in on issues affecting black women? Why is my perspective automatically dismissed?" She even framed her comments as an attempt to help the community, but once the clip circulated on X, the conversation exploded. Some people pushed back with a fair question. What about white women who wear wigs and extensions? And that point is absolutely valid. Black women aren't the only ones who use them. The distinction, however, is that when black women wear hair that dramatically contrasts with their natural textures, like blonde wigs, platinum weaves, or other bright colors, it draws far more attention. If the styles leaned toward cultural expressions like Janet Jackson's box braids in Poetic Justice, the criticism likely wouldn't be as intense. But because of the frequent use of styles so obviously different from natural black hair, the debate keeps resurfacing. Of course, it's not as though only black women change their look this way. Women from all backgrounds experiment with wigs and extensions. The difference is, for many non-black women, those styles often mimic their natural textures, making the switch less noticeable. And as one critic pointed out, it feels hypocritical to police black women's hair choices while some of the same women, criticizing them, are using fillers or tanning to imitate black features. Other voices chimed in too, highlighting how odd it is that black women's choices remain such a hot topic. As one person put it, the obsession with dictating what black women should or shouldn't do with their own hair is absurd. That sentiment was echoed by another woman in the UK, who made a striking point about the constant scrutiny black women face whenever they express themselves.
What is so wild, and go with me on this, is that black women are often told that we are like the least valuable of society, that, you know, nobody wants us, we're the last to get married, the first to get divorced, all this stuff. But yet we are in everyone's mouths, which says to me, actually, that you know that talking about black women gets you views, talking about black women gets you attention, popularity. Therefore, innately, you know that black women are valuable.
She pointed out that conversations about black women often get amplified because they generate clicks, views, and attention. In her words, the constant commentary isn't really about concern, it's about exploiting black women's image while repeatedly sending the message that they are somehow less valuable. Her question was simple but powerful. Why are you so invested in what black women do? But here's where things get even more ironic. At the end of the Arab woman's video, it's revealed that she's dating a black man. That twist is striking. On one hand, she's criticizing black women and their choices. On the other, she's romantically involved with someone from the very community she's addressing. And that contradiction raises an important question. Why does her critique hit so hard when her personal life is intertwined with Black culture?
When you're around those women, and these are the ones, not the ones that like their people and stuff. I'm talking about the women that only date Black men. All their kids are mixed, and everything about them is cosplaying. I'm knowing this. This is for the ones that they only date Black guys. All their kids are mixed. They're like, I would never date, and I just prefer. Those women are usually racist towards Black women.
One sister raised a powerful point. Women from outside the Black community who date Black men often carry an unspoken resentment toward Black women. In her view, this Arab woman felt justified in criticizing Black women simply because she was involved with a Black man. And that's not unusual. I've seen it firsthand in Europe, and it happens in the US too. People outside the community, whether men or women, become emboldened to comment on Black issues once they're romantically tied to someone Black. They treat intimacy as a pass, as if being with a Black partner grants them the authority to judge Black culture. But here's the problem. If a Black man were married to an Arab woman, for example, he would never have the space to publicly criticize her people without serious repercussions. That double standard exists because too often, some Black men and women vent their frustrations about their own community to their non-Black partners. Once those private complaints are laid out, it makes the partner feel comfortable and even entitled to speak negatively about Black people in public. Now, if these same words had come from a Black woman, the impact would have been different. But hearing them from an outsider, like this Arab woman, exposes a deeper issue. The only reason she feels safe doing so is because the Black man she's with doesn't set boundaries. And when a man allows that kind of disrespect, it shows she doesn't truly respect him either. After all, she wouldn't dare criticize her own community this way. She knows the consequences. But she will say it about Black women because too many Black men let it slide. And this isn't just about Europe. The same pattern is visible across America as well. Too often, Black men in interracial relationships, whether with white Arab or Latino women, place their partners on a kind of pedestal, elevating them above their own community. This adoration, when unchecked, can lead to a dangerous imbalance. The partner becomes a voice of authority on issues that belong to the Black community, often critiquing or undermining it publicly. Some men, satisfied with the relationship or distracted by personal gratification, fail to challenge these behaviors, even when their partner's words are damaging or disrespectful. What begins as admiration or love can, if unbalanced, shift into a tacit allowance for the partner to speak over, or worse, belittle the very community that shaped and nurtured them. This dynamic creates a double standard. Outsiders feel emboldened to pass judgment on Black people, while Black men often remain silent, prioritizing their relationship over communal accountability. The problem is simple, yet profound. Once you allow your partner to disrespect your community openly, they eventually lose respect for you as well. Respect is reciprocal, and if a Black man does not defend his community or assert boundaries, his partner will sense that lack of allegiance. Why would she maintain respect for the Black community or for him personally if she perceives that he does not hold the same values? Respect in relationships is not merely about politeness or affection. It is about integrity and the ability to maintain principles even when challenged. Allowing a partner to publicly denigrate your people signals that their words carry more weight than your own cultural loyalty. And this undermines both personal and communal dignity. This leads to a clear lesson for anyone considering or already in an interracial relationship. Boundaries are essential. Respect for your community must be non-negotiable. Setting these boundaries does not mean harboring resentment toward your partner or restricting open dialogue about cultural differences. Rather, it is about creating a foundation where love and respect coexist with accountability. Even if you personally harbor frustrations or grievances about aspects of your community, acknowledged issues like systemic inequality, intra-community conflicts, or historical burdens, these concerns should not be weaponized or amplified by someone outside the community. There is a distinction between private reflection and public disparagement. By maintaining a front of pride and love, you reinforce not only your own identity but also the shared respect that any healthy relationship requires. Failing to establish these boundaries carries consequences beyond the immediate relationship. Disrespect toward one's community gradually erodes self-respect. When a black man allows his partner to dismiss or demean black people, he inadvertently diminishes his own standing, both personally and socially. Respect, after all, is earned through consistent action, principles, and loyalty. If one abandons these principles, the partner, whether intentionally or subconsciously, recognizes the vacuum of authority and begins to occupy it. This can lead to a broader pattern where the black man's voice, opinions, and values are marginalized, leaving him in a position of dependency or silence within the relationship. Over time, the imbalance grows, and what may have started as love or infatuation can transform into a relationship dynamic where respect, integrity, and cultural pride are compromised. In short, the message is unequivocal: love your partner, but love and defend your community first. An interracial relationship can thrive, but only when it respects boundaries, mutual dignity, and cultural loyalty. Without these, both personal respect and communal pride are at risk.